All right, thanks, George. How's the mic? Mics don't like me and I don't like them. Are we good? I want to welcome you to the 23rd Annual RCAF USA Convention, Code of the West. When I think of Code of the West, I think of my dad. He always said, well, what good's a piece of paper going to do if a man's word's no good? And I think that that's kind of how we grew up. I want to start by thanking the membership. Without you, it wouldn't be possible. This is all volunteer. And you guys are the people who take it upon yourselves, and that's a unique thing in this country. I want to thank the board and the committee chairs that donate their time and effort to advance this industry. And I want to thank Bill and the staff who've put together this powerful lineup of speakers from front to back. It'll make your head hurt, make you think. So let's give Bill and the staff a hand. They've done a lot of work on this. I guess as we begin, maybe we should ask ourselves why we're here and how we got here. I remember when I was a boy in the 80s, I didn't know that we deregulated. I didn't know that we backed off antitrust. I didn't know what it'd mean. The great consumer welfare experiment had begun. I had no idea things were concentrating and that concentration would become global. I had no idea those corporations had become powerful enough to capture trade associations and gain undue influence in government, here and abroad. When you talk to a congressman and he completely agrees with you, but he says there's nothing they can do, that's an example of undue influence. You know, when I was a young man, I thought that if you worked hard and you were honest, you'd have a bright future in the cattle industry. But you start noticing things like free trade. You remember the cow that stole Christmas. And you start to realize that hard work and integrity are just, that's the least common denominator in this business. I remember MCool being an idea, when it was an idea to help us compete in the new global marketplace for food security. And so I guess MCool began my education in politics because a lot of people fought for MCool. We got MCool passed, but it didn't get funded. And then we got it funded, and then it got challenged. And then, you know, it went on, and finally we got it. Finally we got it into law. Finally it was applied. And, you know, 4 generations had worked for those years. Great-grandparents and grandparents that I never met. You know, they're the ones that set up 12, 13, and 14. Black ink, finally. But we sold yearlings in the fall, in July of 2015 that made $9 a head. And we had no idea what was coming. Because MCool had been repealed, the foreign meat came in. Doesn't take a lot to throw the markets out of balance, and I remember the markets being explained as like trying to catch a falling knife. And 2015 was the year that I learned that you can't outwork and you cannot outproduce the cartel. And that's why we're here. Thomas Jefferson said, "Question with boldness the very existence of God, because if there be a God, he'd surely rather honest questioning over blindfolded fear." And man, I had lots of questions, and I think all of you did too. So I can't express how thankful I am for everybody in this room and the people that I meet from across the country, because you're the ones that fire us up and drive us. That's what this convention is for. It's about you giving us the energy and the input and the ideas to get us through another year. Yeah, I mean, the collaboration, the action for positive change, that's what I appreciate about RCAF. And I will say there's therapy in standing your ground. So as I wrap up, I want to share a couple quotes from Winston Churchill. As our eyes turn back to Europe with the Dutch farmers, you know, I can't think of a figure in modern history that had more weight on his shoulders than Winston Churchill. He faced down that fascist movement when others wanted to compromise, and his spirit probably saved the Western world. He said famously, when you're going through hell, keep going. He said, only half jokingly, you can always count on Americans to do the right thing once every other available option has been exhausted. And I think we're there. And I think we're the people to lead the change, and here's why. I don't think that there is a class of people in this country who's lived more free, more independent, and more self-reliant than the American rancher. And that's what America is, that's what we're based on. So with that, be thinking as we listen to these great speakers of ideas for the business meeting, for policy, and be sure to visit with us and tell us what we're doing right and what we're doing wrong. So enjoy the convention. Thank you.